morning. Come on in. Good on in. Good morning, Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. I'm just going to wait for you guys to tune in before I introduce myself. How's everyone doing? There's a few in Texas. Who saw the solar eclipse yesterday? I heard it was like pure darkness or complete darkness in Texas. I would have loved to see it, but I'm in Georgia and I was in a consult, so I couldn't. Someone is asking, how do I schedule an appointment? Please call 407-995-6567 to schedule a consultation. You look at me and say, thank you so much. That's so sweet. Crispy says, good morning from New Jersey. Good morning. Good morning, Africana from YouTube. Cleopatra. What's up, girl? Siobhan Smalling from YouTube. Good morning. Chef Pascal, good morning. I have a question for you. I applied for my green card 2 years ago, and then you stopped the question. You got to type the whole question so I can see what the question is. Whenever you guys type questions, you have to type the whole question, because if you continue, other people's posts will cover yours, and I won't be able to know who and where to go back to because they move so quickly. But anyway, let me introduce myself. My name is Aisha Chidole. I'm an immigration lawyer, and I represent clients all over the U.S. with their humanitarian-based immigration cases, VAWA, removal of conditions based on a waiver of divorce or extreme cruelty, fiancé visas, naturalization, marriage cases, appeals, notice of intent to deny, RFEs, all of those good things. You can reach me by calling 407-995-6567. You can also send a WhatsApp to 404-333-8751. The number is on the ticker on YouTube and Facebook. If you're on Instagram or you're watching this after the live, it should be in my profile. If you send messages on Instagram or like Facebook, sometimes it's difficult to catch all of those. So it's easier to just call and schedule an appointment. Okay. Let me take some questions. If your spouse or fiance has a misdemeanor, will that be an issue when filing for you? It depends on what their issue is. So if your spouse or fiance is a U.S. citizen, there's certain types of issues that fall under Adam Welsh's Act that could potentially be an issue. So most of them will probably be felonious as opposed to misdemeanors. So things they're looking at are like Adam Walsh, or things related to children, pedophilia, kidnapping, rape, child abuse, things like that fall under those. And with those types of cases, that's an issue. If it's a misdemeanor for something else, them as U.S. citizens, it's not really an issue. The person that has to make sure that they don't have any crimes of moral turpitude is you, the immigrant, okay? With a USA Master's, is it better for my green card dad, to file for me, or do I do a national interest waiver? I also have a sister in the Army. Your sister being in the Army is probably going to take you the longest. You're still looking at 17 to 20 years. Your green card dad, it's still going to take a long time. From your profile, I can't really tell how old you are. If you're over the age of 21, you're looking at, upwards of 7, 8, 9 years. So the quicker way would be a national interest waiver, but you have to be eligible for it. So like a master's is not like it would all depend on what kind of master's you have and what exactly you're applying for. So from a timeline perspective, doing the 3 different scenarios you've set up, that would be the quickest way for you if eligible for the NIW. Checking the status of my naturalization. It says your case is taking longer to process. We'll notify you if we need to take any action. Should I be concerned? Not necessarily. I mean, do you have anything to be concerned about? Do you have anything that you didn't tell USCIS before, and now you're worried that might come up? But otherwise, sometimes some cases take longer. But without knowing your immigration history, I can't say yay or nay if you should be concerned about that. Russian Liverpool says, good morning. Thanks for all you do. May God bless you. Amen. Thank you so much. And you as well. April 5th has been 3 years since I've been waiting on my VAWA to be approved. Now, what can I do? And my work permit also expires in January 2024. I would hope that you renewed your work permit before it expired. If you didn't renew it, you definitely need to renew it. If it was, so April 5th would have been this weekend that just passed on Friday. 3 years is normal. 2 to 3 years is normal. At this point, though, I would definitely say you want to start with an inquiry to USCIS. If you have a lawyer, go through your lawyer so they can go through like the attorney hotline. If you don't, do a snail mail to get something going. And if still nothing, then you want to start thinking about using either an ombudsman request or congressional assistance. Those would be the first steps that I would take to try to get a decision. Okay. Cleopatra said, I referred you to another friend of mine. She did her consultation and will be retaining you soon. I'm selling you, girl, because you're the best. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. I have an I-75 action. I've been married 4 years. Can I do citizenship now? I don't understand the question. What is an I-75 action? I don't know what that is. I have TPS and F1 visa. I want to give up my F1 visa. Why? Don't give it up. If you're a student, you better stay in school because honestly, right now is not the time to like dilly-dally and play around with immigration related applications that swing. What I mean swing is depending on who is in office, they can stop something or they can start something. So, this is an election year, and you guys know what happens in election years. In election years, there's a lot of immigration back and forth because that is a big issue of contention generally in election. So you can have TPS today. By January, it might no longer exist. So if you already have another viable option, you definitely want to keep both of them going until you actually have something that can put you in status. And F1 is not something that's really contested. So if you're in school already, stay in school and stay on the F1. So I would not let go of the F1. Okay. Do you do asylum cases? No, I don't. I sent my paperwork in 9 months ago, and I'm yet to receive a work permit or anything. I would need to know what kind of paperwork you submitted. How long does VAWA take to get approved or denied? 2 to 3 years on average. Some people get it at 2-year mark, some people 2.5 years, some people at 3-year mark. Some people are eligible for an expedited review, and in those cases, it could take those people, 12 months, 18 months. It just depends on the grounds of why you request an expedited. For instance, we had, we had a client who had a heart condition basically, and we're able to expedite it with a doctor's notes and stuff like that. And it was much quicker than the normal 2-year timeline. So it just depends, on what it is. Okay. My green card was approved in on February 27th, but I haven't received it yet. Okay, so we're in April. So your green card either was, so the first thing that you want to do is go track your case on USCIS case status, put in your receipt number. Usually if they've shipped out your green card, you should be able to see the USPS tracking number on there. If there's no tracking number, or if it doesn't say it's been shipped or delivered, then that means they haven't shipped or delivered, and then you need to select the button, did not receive my green card. If they have shipped it, you want to try to track it to see where it was. Was it delivered or was it returned back because either the address wasn't valid or it bounced back? So there are many variables to it. Ultimately, if you find out that it wasn't shipped, then you can say did not receive, or it was shipped but returned back, you can do that as well. Now, if it was delivered to an address that you gave them, sometimes USCIS would require to pay to send a new one. If they say, well, we never got it back, We never got it back. So clearly it was delivered. So it just depends on where you are on there. How long after getting married to a citizen should I wait to apply for a work permit? So marrying a citizen is not what makes you eligible for a work permit. What makes you eligible for a work permit is if you file an adjustment of status application, which you can file if you're married to a U.S. citizen. So there's no timeline, if you feel that you have enough to submit an application, you can submit your application for adjustment of status. And when you do that, you can then request a work permit. What is the cost for a consultation? We charge $150 for consultations. I paid for a green card on the 8th of December. Yesterday makes it 120 days, and I'm yet to receive my green card. Please, what could be the issue? I don't know. What do you mean paid for a green card? Did you consular process? Is that what you mean? Like you came from out of the country? Yeah. Is it normal for the processing time to change back and forth for adjustment of status case? Yeah, it is. My I-130 was approved 2 days after I filed my I-485. My question is, how would I know if they received my application? And what time frame can I expect to get a response? How you would know is you will get a filing receipt. If you don't get a filing receipt, then they've not received it. Can you travel with a 2-year green card? Absolutely. A 2-year green card functions exactly the same way as a 10-year green card. The only difference is that after 2 years, you have to file for removal of conditions to make sure that, you're still in a legitimate relationship, or if it was your parents that they were in a legitimate relationship. But you have the exact same benefits. So, you can travel, you can work and do all that. You, of course, can't claim to be a U.S. citizen. You can, serve on the jury. You can run for election. You cannot vote. So those are the things that you cannot do as a green card holder. And you definitely don't want to do them, because those will, if you mistakenly do that, you will not be able to get your citizenship. If your child's father decides to cancel his child case and his wife, how can I go about stopping this? Child, I don't understand the question. I'm sorry. How long does it take to receive a receipt notice? Receipt notices can take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. Some cases it may take longer depending on if it's a case where there's a filing fee or there's no filing fee. Yeah. What does it mean when it says that your case has been transferred to another USCIS department? It just depends on when it just depends on where you submitted your case and where processing is. For instance, if you have a valid case, most cases are sent to Nebraska, just to do the processing of the receipts, but a lot of times they will eventually transfer to Vermont. So I'm not sure if that's the scenario you're in, or if you sent it, let's say, to an address that's not the address for processing, they may transfer it to the other place. Yeah. My U.S. citizen wife filed for my daughter, age 4, and I in October of 2023. We're both in the U.S. overstayed. My daughter's mother got her citizenship in March. Would this cancel the filing my wife did? That's a good question. It's not going to cancel the filing that your wife did. If your daughter's mother is a U.S. citizen, even though your daughter is her daughter, she cannot derive citizenship unless she's a green card holder. When she becomes a green card holder, then she can derive citizenship through her mother, as long as it's before she's 18 and, she's in her custody and all of that. But, so either the one your wife did can be submitted on her behalf, or her mother can also do one for her. Melissa from Facebook says, thank you for all your help. I'm a 10-year green card holder. Can I file for my mom? I'm brother now, or I have to wait until I'm a citizen. You do have to wait until you are a citizen. Okay. Is it normal for me to send my paperwork in 9 months ago, and still I haven't received my work permit? I think I answered this one. It just really depends on I don't know what kind of case you submitted. So it's hard for me to answer that without knowing what you submitted or what category your work permit application is in. I have will USCIS deny the renewal of my EAD if it's been expired for more than a year? No, as long as you have a case pending under I-485, or you're still eligible for whichever category in which you're applying for your EAD, they won't deny it. It's just that you will miss out. Like if you do a late filing, all it means is that you will not benefit from the receipt acting as your extension. So for example, let's say you have a marriage-based case and you submit your, and you get a work permit, and when your work permit expires, or before your work permit expires, you file for renewal. If you file for renewal before the work permit expires, your receipt acts as an extension of your work permit. So that's how that works. When you get an email for both the I-130 and I-485, that action has been taken on your case, but the account was credited, but nothing was seen. I don't understand that question. Or are you still typing? I have a B2 case pending with USCIS, and I applied for VAWA, and my B2 got denied. Will this affect my VAWA case? Not necessarily, just all depends on what your denial was for, and if it's the same, if it's something that's required with the VAWA. Hello, by accident, I put the wrong last date of entry to the US on I-589. Is it a big deal? You can just try and amend your file, or you can even try to do a typographical error online and state that, this is the wrong date. I don't know if you submitted your I-94. If you submitted your I-94 usually has the correct date. And that's something that I would consider a clerical error. Bra says, what's the benefits of selective service system? It's not about benefit or not. That is a requirement for all men in the US who are applying for immigration or green card holders to register for selective service between the ages of 18 to 25 before you would basically turn 26. So it's a requirement. If you don't register for selective service, this can affect you from naturalizing into a U.S. citizen unless you've passed the timeline of the exemption, which is usually over like 30, whatever it is, then at that point, it doesn't matter. Kennedy Closet, how can I speak to you directly? I'm a client. Send me an email and CC your case manager so that they can get you on the calendar to speak with me. If you've not gotten a receipt notice since January, definitely send an email. Let's see who you are, because I don't know who you are. And then we can check if we've done an inquiry on your behalf. I have a job offer. I did an expedite on my I-765, but was denied. My license also expired. Please, what can I do? I'm a VAWA applicant. I have a prima facie. Well, sorry to hear that. I mean, if they denied your expedited, you just kind of have to wait the timeline, but I wonder what you wrote in there, like, that made them deny it. Like, did you submit the job offer to let them know that you had a job offer, that it was contingent on you getting this, and maybe doing an explanation of how, as most VAWA victims have hardship, and need to be able to support themselves financially as part of escaping or leaving abuse. So it just depends on what you wrote. Maybe you can try again. Will USCIS deny the renewal of my EAD if it's been expired for more than a year? I think you've asked this question like 3 times and I've answered. I said no, they won't. My I-751 is being denied. If I-751 is denied and you refile with the same person, how long does it take for a response, and will they call for an interview? Interview is just really dependent on each case. Timeline for I-751s are 18 to 24 months. That's really the average. So that's kind of the timeline that it would be. I'm currently on a tourist visa and my wife is too. We just had a baby. Congrats. What are the best chances to go for? Do you think asylum is or the best option? Asylum should not be something that's filed arbitrarily just because, unless you actually qualify for asylum. You don't want to file a frivolous claim so that you're not facing a bar from ever adjusting or deportation. So I wouldn't recommend that unless you qualify for it. What happens if I can't find my I-94 information? It says no travel records about this traveler. Well, I mean, I guess if you can find it, it depends on what year you came into the country. Do you have the paper form? If not, there is a form that you can fill out on USCIS to try and get your travel history. Can I use my vow to cancel an old removal proceeding? You could. It depends, if your vow is approved. I mean, right now, immigration judge, USCIS immigration is allowing for some DHS or is allowing for what we call prosecutorial discretion, where basically if you reach out to opposing counsel like DHS and say, our client has an approved valid case, can we just both file a joint motion to dismiss this case and removal? Because obviously this is something that they're eligible for, and so we don't waste the court's resources. Typically, if they approve that, then the judge will terminate the removal case and allow you to finish off your vow to adjustment of status. Okay. I filed for my husband and his work authorization came just after he left the country. Will he have a problem coming back to the country? What do you mean he left the country? What do you mean by that? Did he leave the country with advance parole? If he didn't, I mean, there's so many red flags going off right now and stranded, he may be stranded, but I don't know what kind of case you filed, what your husband has. But if you're saying his work permit came, does that mean he has an advance parole that he traveled on? Does that mean he has an something else that allowed him to travel and come back? Because that part is the part that would be a problem, because you cannot, if you have an adjustment of status pending, you cannot leave the country without advance parole unless you fall under certain types of visa applications like K3 or L. But otherwise, you will basically have abandoned that adjustment of status application. I did my green card renewal 2 years ago, but haven't received it yet. How long does it take? And my extension letter will expire next month. I think I just explained that it takes anywhere from 18 to 24 months. So hopefully you should be in the cusp where you can do an inquiry. If your extension is about to expire, you can schedule an info pass with USCIS. You can just, go online and schedule it at your local field office, and then they'll stamp your passport with an additional 1-year extension while your case is pending. Is the I-485 free now as of April when filing VAWA? Yes, it is. You recently posted about a client getting their I-360 being approved in 1 year. How often does that happen? It's not often. That I think the person posted was someone that did an expedited and got approved for the expedited, but that's not common. You have to be eligible for an expedited review based on something. And if you're eligible for that, then it's possible that you can get that. But a normal timeline is 2 years to 3 years. If you just filed yours in 2023, you're only about 6 months in. So you're still within a normal timeline. Okay. Okay. All right, let me take 2 more questions and then I gotta jump off. My friend was denied a green card 2 years ago based on marriage. The spouse is very abusive. Can he apply for VAWA even if his green card was denied? If he's eligible, he can. Would need to screen him to make sure he's eligible. My friend initially received an approval for his I-130 petition in 2019. However, he refiled VAWA, but didn't add his son. What can be done at this point? I guess VAWA crime is now 3 years. I don't understand that part. But if he omitted his son and they've not yet made a decision on the VAWA case, he can amend it. He can request to amend it to include his son. He would have to provide birth certificate and prove that it's his son. Daya says, does a new card is being produced for the I-360 mean your case is approved? Yes, that's what it means. Congrats. Can I file Form 485 and 765 together? Yes. Is there any hope on F2 visa to get work permit? F2 meaning spouse or child of a green card holder, child under the age of 21, unmarried. As of right now, no, because the wait time is priority date September. So if you're just submitting your application, not right now. Okay. I submitted my marriage-based petition for 8 years through USPS on March 29, and I haven't received a receipt notice. I wrote attention instead of ATN. Will that be a problem? Absolutely not. That is not a problem at all. 29th is just less than a week, plus or minus Easter break. So you're still well within a couple of weeks to get your receipt. So don't worry. It should be on its way. All right, guys, I have to jump off. If I wasn't able to get to your questions, feel free to schedule a consultation. If you're your client, feel free to use your client portal, if you need to request a consultation. All right, bye, guys.